Greetings, travelers. I'm your host, the C. That knows a lot, Dr. Waluigi, and Merry Christmas! Ah, yes, Christmas. One of the better holidays of the year, and to everyone who doesn't celebrate Christmas, I do wish you happy holidays. And now that that's out of the way, today's review is going to be a continuation of one I did last year. And that review is on the second Raccoons special, The Raccoons on Ice. As I mentioned last year, The Raccoons was a television series created by Kevin Gillis. The series began with 4 specials, 2 of which take place during the winter holidays. The first special, The Raccoons Christmas, was a pretty good introduction to the series and still holds up as a Christmas classic. However, I don't feel the same way as I do for this special. The plot revolves around the Raccoons, Bert, Ralph, and Melissa, along with their friends Schaefer, the sheepdog, and Cedric with his new girlfriend, Sophia Tutu, the aardvark, trying to save Evergreen Lake from Cedric's father, Cyril, who plans to build a hockey rink on top of the lake. In order to save the lake, the Raccoons must play a hockey game against Cyril's team of bears to decide who owns the lake. While not as focused on an environmental message as the previous special did, with mentioning Cyril cutting down trees to sell them as Christmas trees, it still makes an important point on not trying to ruin nature by putting in something that doesn't need to be there. The cast returns as their previous characters and introduces 3 new characters. The first is Sophia Tutu, voiced by Sharon Lewis, another aardvark that becomes Cedric's girlfriend in the series. I only remember her in a few episodes of the show, and I did like her in those episodes that she was a part of. The only weird thing about her is that while she's a main character of the show, by season 3, the writers decided to write her out of the show. I will go into more of this when we get to the show, but suffice it to say, she was a decent character in both this special and the rest of the show. The other 2 characters are Cyril's dog/aardvark mix, okay, that is freaking amazing, called Snag, voiced by Michael McGee, who was also the voice of Cyril, and his hired thugs of the show, the Bears, voiced by Carl Banas. These 2 have only been minor characters in the show, and honestly, I have no real love or hate for them, so take what you can with these characters. The animation for this special has been improved since the previous installment. My biggest problem with the animation was that it looked like something off of an old VHS tape, but you can tell that the animators took the time and updated the characters and backgrounds for the special. The other positive for this special is introducing us to Cyril's mansion, or castle depending on how you look at it. And all I gotta say is that this place is both cool and horrifying. Seriously, how the actual hell has no one come across this scary-ass fortress? Which brings me to one of the biggest plot holes in this special and the whole show in general. The main issue I have with this special is the continued inclusion of the family from the previous special and their continued existence throughout the show. I get that they needed to explain where Schaefer came from and all, but then the show can't seem to decide whether or not to have the family see the raccoons and what Cyril does. For example, in this special, we see the family in the opening enjoying the winter. Then Schaefer goes off to spend the day with the raccoons. But once the hockey game is over, the family goes out to the lake and sees all of the skate marks left behind by the raccoons and the Bears hockey game. So what? Does that mean that they actually exist in this world as regular human-sized animals, or does it mean that someone else was on the lake? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to keep them around, and honestly, it's surprising why they even keep the family around other than to explain where Schaefer is in most of the episodes of the show. Overall, I think that this special has better animation, but I think the story is just a bit weaker than the first special, and it shows in certain points. But this is still one of the few Canadian-based animated series that I remember from my childhood, plus things would get better from here. I give this special a 7 out of 10. Not bad, and it's still worth watching if you're curious about the series. Thanks for watching, I'm Dr. Waluigi, and remember, don't judge a book by its cover, 'cause you'll never know what's inside.